Well, today's been an interesting day. Please tell me I'm not the only one. Please tell me I'm not the only one that has this issue every once in a while. So ever since I started doing the YouTube thing, and I've been making videos and I've been recording myself much like I am right now, I do believe 4 terabytes of storage in my iCloud. And ever since I started recording and I started putting things on YouTube, I want to keep the video clips that I've been recording. I want to keep them so that I can restore any sort of failures that might happen. So if, let's just say that, my channel gets canceled or gets taken down by YouTube or, whatever, I have backups of everything. That way I can restore if I have to. Now it's a lot of space. If you guys haven't recorded video before, if you guys haven't had any issues with space, then let me tell you, whenever you run out of space on iCloud, it affects everything. It affects how fast your phone goes. It affects how fast your computer goes. It affects how fast your iPad goes. It affects a lot of things, and it just slows down and makes everything so inconvenient. And so, I've had a backup hard drive for a very long time that I was using whenever I went to DJ because it had my entire music collection on it. And then the cable started getting overworn and the cable broke, and I didn't bother rebuying a new one. And I just let it sit and transferred any of the music that I needed to another portable hard drive that I have. And I was just using that to DJ. But now that I'm running into this space issue whenever it comes to recording, I went ahead and tried getting my hard drive to work again. And I even bought a new cable. I got a lot of different things ready for it. Like I cut into the chase. I had to break open the case. So it was a Seagate backup plus hub. And I do believe it was like $150 whenever I first bought it. It was a 5 terabyte hard drive, and it had everything on. It has everything on it. So I went ahead and broke it open, and I used a different sort of mount that I have for hard drives that'll hold 2 hard drives, and you can interact with both of them at the same time. And so that's what I did, was I went ahead and took out the hard drive out of this Seagate one and put it into its made by Insignia, and it's just a dual hard drive mount that you can use to plug into hard drives and operate them independently. And so I did something stupid. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the backup hard drive to copy to this other hard drive. So I actually have like 5 different hard drives that I've had, and I just have them and I use them independent. I used to use them. I had them as backups in my computers whenever I had a full size, computer tower. And I've had different hard drives throughout the years ever since I was 20. And there's this one that I've had and that I forgot about, and whenever I pulled it out of storage and I went to go look for hard drives that I could use to back up the backup to, that way I could format it to an Apple filing system type, so I could back it up to a Apple filing system. I found a 3 terabyte hard drive that I completely forgot about. And so I transferred everything off the 3 terabyte hard drive onto the backup, formatted the 3 terabyte hard drive, and now I'm trying to move everything from the backup to this 3 terabyte hard drive, which is plenty of space for what's on the backup. And then I want to format the backup to the Apple filing system as well, and then restore that onto the backup again. That way I have 2 different hard drives. Because if you don't know, if you're new to the video game, if you're new to DJing, if you're new to storage and maintaining a really good storage system, you want multiple backups. You don't want just one hard drive. You want several, and you don't want to keep them all in one location. You want to have them all over just in case you end up having a fire or something like that, or a natural disaster happens or something, and you just lose the hard drive. You can have one in a secret location or a different location than your home or your office. And so what I've been doing is I've always had a lot of hard drives. So I have 2 backups, 5 technically. So I have my hard drive that's in my computer. And then I have the backup hard drive, and then I have that 3 terabyte hard drive, and then I have iCloud, and I also have OneDrive, and I used to have, but I stopped using them, but I used to use Dropbox for a backup as well, and I didn't stop using it for any reason other than I didn't want to pay for it, and since I was already paying for iCloud, I didn't want to pay for 2. So, I'm kind of in a sticky situation because I sat down and I decided to get the backup hard drive to create an image that can be written onto the 3 terabyte hard drive. That way I have an exact clone of my backup. That way I can restore, or I can format my backup and then restore it with the image that I created. And the problem is that the backup is in NTFS, and if I'm going over your heads, NTFS is a Windows filing system. And so I didn't realize that I realized, but it escaped my attention, my detailed attention, that this is an NTFS hard drive that I'm trying to clone, and it won't write the image onto the 3 terabyte hard drive. But just talking this out with you guys, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay for right now. I'm not, because I can't have the NTFS format. I looked it up. I did my research, and you can't back up, or I'm sorry, you can't restore an NTFS partition onto an Apple partition. And so I can't cancel the backup. It has to complete itself. And I'm just kind of stuck. I'm kind of stuck right now. I don't have the ability to cancel it. I could go ahead and force quit the process, but I don't know if that will do anything. I don't know if that will cause problems. I don't know if it'll corrupt the system. And that's my backup hard drive. I can't get rid of it. I can't do anything with it. I have to keep it because it literally has everything on it. Not everything. A lot of my stuff is in iCloud, but it has a lot of different stuff, especially my DJ music, because I've been collecting DJ music for years and years and years. Even before I started becoming a DJ, I had plenty of I had plenty of music that I bought, paid for, ripped off of CDs and whatnot. And so I can't lose that hard drive. I have to be sure that this image creation continues until it's completed because I don't want to risk losing it. So here I am. It is probably like 6 o'clock, and I guess I'm doing another retrospective because I didn't plan on doing a retrospective. What I had planned on doing today was I wanted to create so I'm creating posts. I'm creating posts for Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And the posts, I'm having to do things the long way, the hard way. I don't have Canva, and I don't have much of any other sort of processing software, specialized processing software for stuff like that. So I'm having to do everything manually, creating images with AI, then downloading those images and porting them into a program called Typorama for iOS or iPad OS, or you can also get it for the Mac if you want to have, because you can run you can run iPad and some iOS applications on a Mac. It just depends on which ones. They're not all compatible. So it just happens that Typorama is, and what Typorama does is you can take an image. I could take a picture, like I could take this picture right here of you guys looking at me right now, and then put a really cool saying on it, put something on it that will really show people or whatever. I can make it really nice, change everything. If you're interested in doing text overlays or editing photos with any sort of text overlay, Typorama is really good. It's a little expensive. It was like $40 whenever I bought it, but I got all the fonts, I got all the bells and whistles with it, like 10 years ago. And so I use Typorama for any of my thumbnails in YouTube, for any of my posts in YouTube and Instagram, for a lot of different things. I use Typorama. I love it. And my wife loves it too, because she's over the years created flyers for family dinners and for get-togethers and weddings and Halloween parties and stuff like that. So she uses it as well. But it's just, I didn't really plan on doing this talking, which is fine. I'm not bothered by it. I know how to talk, and I have plenty of things to talk about. I just want to be able to, space them out, because you guys don't only want to see me talk, I'm sure. I have lots of knowledge in different technical stuff and whatnot. And so I want to give you guys a full suite of tools and helpful stuff that you guys can use in your day-to-day lives, in your creation projects, in your creative projects, stuff like that. So, but since I'm going to do a retrospective, I don't have to, but I could do other things. But since I'm going to do a retrospective for today as well, I guess I don't know. What should we talk about? Yesterday I was talking about, the past and God's calling, and then another time I was talking about how I DJ'd and, the things that I did as a DJ and a whole lot of business sense ideas. But I do believe this would be the fourth one. I don't know necessarily if you guys want to hear me talk. So I guess, so last night, I don't know what's going on, but last night I had a really interesting interaction with my son. It was actually kind of cool. I don't know. I got to see a new side of him that he doesn't show a lot of people, I guess, because I've never seen him act this way. I've never seen him talk the way he does. that he did last night. And, you know, whenever we were talking, it was really late at night, and he wanted pancakes. And he's like, he comes upstairs and he's ready to eat, and it's like 10 o'clock at night. And I'm just like, dude, you can't be eating at 10 o'clock at night. He goes, well, I'm hungry. And I'm like, well, what are you going to make? And so he starts pulling out cookbooks. And I'm just like, what are you doing? And he goes, I'll show you. And I'm like, what do you mean you're going to show me? What are you going to show me? And he goes, he just doesn't even answer me. He's just flipping through these cookbooks trying to find a recipe for pancakes. And so I was like you can't just break down and start making pancakes. If you want pancakes, I can show you how to make pancakes. I think we have what we need, but I'm not going to let you pull out eggs and milk and salt, sugar, and all that stuff. Like you're not making pancakes. I'll make you pancakes. And so we pulled out Bisquick, and he's like, what is this? And I'm like, it's probably Bisquick. I had no idea what it is. It's just in a sealed storage tub, and it just had directions on it, and it looked like maybe either Bisquick or just pancake mix. So I pull out the instructions because they're in the container with the flour and stuff, and it just says a cup of mix and 3/4 of a cup of water, and mix it and go. And so that's what I told him. And I said, but if you're going to do this, you have to do it quietly. Your grandma's asleep, your mom's asleep, Tessa's trying to sleep. You know, you can't make noise. You got to be really quiet. And so he got excited, and the kid is so funny. He was so funny last night. He's like, all right, it's nighttime cooking with Jacob and ASMR. And he's over here whispering, ASMR style. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this kid. I started cracking up laughing. I'm just like, dude, you're so funny. Like, what's going on? And he's like being very intentional with the things that, except for pulling out the cookbooks. Whenever he pulled out the cookbooks, literally every cookbook fell out of the shelf. And I'm like, dude, like, you're like making noise, dude. Like, stop. People are sleeping. And so whatever. He makes pancakes, dude. He makes pancakes completely silently. Silent. Like, other than a few scrapes here or a knock there or whatever, for the most part, it was complete quiet. And he made these pancakes, and he ate his pancakes, and then Tessa comes out. Tessa comes out of her bedroom, and she wants pancakes too. All of a sudden, she sees him eating pancakes. Now she wants pancakes. Of course, kids, right? And so, she's like, well, how do I make pancakes? I want to make pancakes. And I'm like, just follow the directions. Like, the directions are in the box or in that container. Like, just follow the directions. And so she's looking, and she goes, I don't understand. I don't understand the directions. I don't know any of this. And so I guess that means that I have to teach her all about how to measure and how to cook and stuff like that, because apparently she doesn't know how to measure things out properly. And so I just said, you know what? Don't even bother. Jacob made 2 giant pancakes. The box said 4 to 7 pancakes, and he ended up making enough and just making 2 giant pancakes. I'm like, don't even make pancakes. Jacob is not going to eat all of that. He can't eat all of that. I know he won't. And so he's like, yeah, I'm done. And he's like, there's 1 whole pancake left. I haven't even touched it. And so I was like, just go eat his pancake. And she does, and she goes to bed. And then Jacob goes downstairs. He's like, all right, peace out, good night. And I'm like, dude, the whole reason why he even made pancakes is because I asked him to do the dishes. I'm like, dude, can you please do me a favor and do the dishes? And so suddenly, if you guys don't know, you guys haven't even heard. So my son Jacob, he was involved in a commercial, PSA commercial actually, and I do believe that it was about depression. Don't quote me on that, but I'm thinking it might have been about depression or mental health. And so he was involved in this commercial. The production company paid him $500 to be in this commercial. And so he ended up getting $500 and blew through that. Bought, I don't know what he bought exactly. I know that he's DoorDashed or Grubhubbed a few meals in between, probably spending like $30 on a single meal. Craziness. But I, blew through it. He has like maybe 20 bucks left. And so I was basically saying, hey, do me a favor, do me a solid, and I'll do you a solid in the future. I go, I know you're about out of money, and whenever you do run out of money, you're going to want to drink at some point. If you do the dishes, I'll buy you a drink from the gas station whenever you run out of money. And so he's like, all right, bet. And so he does the dishes. Well, he said he was going to do the dishes. Then he made pancakes and forgot that he was supposed to do the dishes. And so as soon as he go downstairs, I'm texting him like, dude, come back up here. You forgot the dishes. He does the dishes silently as well. Like, he completely quiet. And in between all of this conversation and just messing around and having fun with him and whatnot, I'm getting weird vibes. I don't know what it was, but if you guys remember me talking to you about how I have the ability to sense energy and I can sense certain things, I do believe that I said that yesterday. I'm not entirely sure, but I have the ability to sense energy. I have the ability to read people in certain circumstances and certain situations. And just last night, he was giving me really weird vibes. I wasn't sure what was going on, but it wasn't bad weird vibe. It was good weird vibes. Just, it was not normal for him. And so I spent a little time trying to do my thing and, read him and try and assess what's going on. And because Tessa comes out, and Tessa and Jacob, they don't get along at all. They fight a lot. And so as soon as she comes out, I got to have a conversation with that girl. She was literally, I'm not even going to talk about it. Let's just say that, something happened last night, and my son got upset with her and yelled at her, and it didn't go very well. Like, anytime that they get together, they fight. And so I'm like, dude, just ignore it. Just ignore it. Like, I promise you, like if you ignore it, eventually the problem will go away. But man, like, it was such a good night last night. And I don't know exactly the reason why. I don't know. I want to hear from you dads and sons. You know what? I want to hear from you dads and sons. Sons, how is your relationship with your dad? Do you have a dad? Is your dad in your life? Do you have another male figure that acts as a kind of father figure? And dads, how's your relationship with your sons? You give them some room, some respect, let them grow. Like, I'm genuinely curious as to hear how some of you dads raise your children and whatnot. I've talked a little bit about myself. I'm the type of person who really tries to get to understand my kids, as I'm sure any of you are. But in that process of trying to understand my kids, I give my kids a lot of information about me, not necessarily, genuinely private things, but whenever they're curious about, like, why I made a decision the decision that I made, or whatever. Why did I decide to do this? Why did I decide to do that? Certain things like that. I give my kids a lot of information as far as who I am, what I'm about, the mistakes that I've made in my past, the things that I regret doing as a kid, the trying to pass the baton on to my kids and give them a glimpse as to who I am. Maybe I kind of feel like maybe if I do these things, if I give them the insider knowledge, maybe they will grow into more grounded, functional, adults. And so that's my overall game plan whenever I raised my kids, and I'm raising my kids, is really give them a good glimpse into who I am and what I stand for and what I believe in and what I'm willing to fight for. I mean, heck, the other day I told my daughter, we got into a fight. She and I get into fights all the time because we have the same personality, the same like I'm very Latin and I'm very passionate, and whenever certain things go in my life, I have like my heart just takes over, and if I'm passionate about something, if I'm passionate about what I believe in, I argue for it. I will fight for it. And my daughter's the same way, only she fights in believing that she can have candy 24/7, or that she can just run off with a half gallon of ice cream and it gets disappeared in her room, and we find it 3 weeks later melted and full of mold and stuff. That's what she fights for. And so I really struggle with her because she might have my passion, she might have my aggressive personality, but she doesn't have my sense for order and cleanliness and whatnot. So I really struggle with her. I'm just going to be honest. I really struggle with her. And so we'll get into it, she and I, and I'm not the type of person, I'm not the type of dad to let her just have whatever she wants. I don't. A lot of dads, even a lot of the father handbooks that I've read say that you should raise your daughters different from your sons. Your sons need the hard hand, they need the structure, they need the guidance, they need the rigid rules. But I don't differentiate between kids. I don't differentiate between sexes. I raise my daughter the same way that I raise my son, with hard expectations and an unwavering, a detailed attention, I guess, unwavering passion for what I believe in. And I know that there's a lot of sons that there's a lot of dads that will raise their daughters with giving them the things that they want. You can have a doll and you can have these toys, and they really dote on their daughters, and they really trying to think of the word, they really seem to give a lot more affection to their daughters versus their sons. And I'm not like that. I'm as hard on my daughter as I am on my son. What I expect out of my son, I expect out of my daughter. I don't play the battle of the sexes game. They're kids, and they need the structure, they need the guidance, they need the rules, they need to know that the beliefs that I have today are most likely going to be the beliefs that I have a week from now. And if I'm not okay with my daughter running off with a half gallon of ice cream and eating half of it and then, trashing the other half, which has happened a lot throughout the years. She regularly will run off with ice cream and cookies and cake. I've just this morning, I walked into her room and we had a roll of Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. And I went into her room and I see this little white cup on her bed. And I'm like, what's that? Because it kind of looked like glue, but I knew that it wasn't. I know what I was looking at. And I go, what's that? And she goes, it's been there. And I'm like, I didn't ask how long. I didn't ask where it came from. I asked what it is. And she's like, I don't know. I didn't have it. And I'm like, it's in your room. It's in your room. You obviously did have it. And I want to know what it is. And she says, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm like, I know what it is. I know what it is. And guys, I grounded her today to her room. I took away her phone. And just a little while ago, I caught her trying to watch television. I took away her television. I'm not playing these games with her. I'm not here to play, oh, my daughter's soft and she's needs a little bit more of a softer upbringing. No. I'm not doing that. Homie, don't play that game. She's devious. And she lies a lot. And she'll steal things. And it's been a real struggle trying to battle this. I can't even let her in my room anymore. Every time that I seem to let her in my room, she gets this mentality that, oh, my room is now her room and she can come in and do whatever she wants anytime that she wants, and she will come in and steal things. She's stolen my wife's toys. She's 13, FYI. She's stolen hundreds of dollars in makeup. She stole an entire Mary Kay kit, $100 Mary Kay kit, and crushed it all into powder and destroyed it. She's run off with electronics. She's run off with my wife's clothes. She's run off with food. We bought NeuroGum. I think we probably bought like $30 in NeuroGum. I don't know where it is. I don't know where this gum is. And my wife doesn't either, but I almost can guarantee my daughter does. And she won't tell me. I'll sit there and confront her right to her face, and I will know that she took it. And she'll deny it. Just like she denied having this cup of frosting from the Pillsbury cinnamon rolls. She threw out all the cinnamon rolls, only kept the frosting, and was eating that. And I'm not down for it. So, you guys tell me, how do you raise your daughters? I'm pretty sure that some of you are with me on this. I'm pretty sure some of you are like yelling at your screens at me because of what I've just talked about. But I can't be the only dad that has a daughter like this. I can't be the only dad that has problems like this. She ran off with like $300 in tools, screwdrivers and a couple hammers and drill bits and just things, and she ran off with them and threw them in the trash. All I can do is try my best. All I can do is try my best. And I think I found the secret to this. Until she can learn how to entertain herself, which, that's not a bad thing. Just, I want my punishments to hurt. I want them to sting a little bit. I want them to cause discomfort and pain. I'm not. My kids are too old to spank anymore. I wasn't really much of a spanker anyway, but nonetheless, even now, my kids are too old to spank. So I started grounding her and taking away her phone. And if I have to, I'll delete apps off of her phone and hide and disable the app store so she can't re-download these games or any other games. I'll delete YouTube or Facebook, or she doesn't have Facebook. I'll delete YouTube. I'll delete whatever. She's crazy into TikTok right now. Like, I'll delete it. I don't even care. I have zero cares. Zero. So you guys tell me. Am I too rough? Or am I just right? How do you raise your daughters? How do you raise your sons? Are you like me and you kind of give them a glimpse into who you are and trying to use you yourself as a illustration for good and bad behaviors and good and bad consequences? You should if you're not. You should if you're not. You could be embarrassed. Okay, I get it. You could be ashamed. I get it. But, your kids are going to love hearing about what it was like whenever you were a kid, whenever you were growing up. The punishments that your parents put you through, they appreciate it. And, I've told my kids, my mom handed my butt to me. There was one time I woke up. And I don't remember exactly much of that morning, but I do know that I woke up, got ready for school. My mom spanked my butt for no reason whatsoever, and she told me, that's just the show and trying to keep you in line. You just remember that whooping as you're going throughout your day and think about it, so that way you're not doing something stupid that's going to get you in trouble later on. I didn't do anything. I literally woke up and probably had breakfast. But man, my mom was a spanker. I didn't want to be, and then I kind of found myself that I was, and I didn't like it, so I stopped. But it is what it is. I don't think I spank my daughter enough, actually, but it is what it is. So, you guys tell me. I'm sure there's plenty of guys out there. You spank your daughter? Yes, I did. It is what it is. It's better. I feel like it's better for them to get a swat on the butt than to accidentally cut off a finger or accidentally burn themselves or accidentally burn down the house. I almost burned down the house. I should have got my butt whooped that time. Instead of accidentally doing these things, I feel that it's better for a spanking than, letting terrible things happen. That's just me, though. Please share. Please like, subscribe, comment. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear from your dads, boys, sons. How does your parents raise you? What's some of the crazy discipline punishments? What are some of the crazy punishments that you either respect now that maybe you're a little older, or some that you still like that was wrong, my parents should not have done that? I'm interested in the conversation. Anyway, thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful night. It's a good day. It's been a really good day. I got a lot of stuff done. It's just I'm not done with it. So I'm gonna upload this video and just get it off. I'm sorry, I didn't want to do a retrospective. I want to provide some actual educational content today, but that didn't happen. So have a good night, guys. Dogs are going crazy. They fight.